Governments bring in taxes at certain times that they think will be popular. And then behind the scenes, they sneak in these exemptions that apply to the very rich. And the best example I have is, maybe it was about 10 years ago, here in the UK, they brought in this second home additional stamp duty, which you're probably aware of. And there is an exemption in that law for people who buy 7 or more properties at once. And do you know who immediately went and bought 7 properties? Jeremy Hunt, our current Chancellor. So the reason why I don't push for things like wealth taxes on levels like £500,000 is because a lot of people in this country have £500,000 in wealth nowadays because of the value of property. You don't need to be super rich to have £500,000. Of course, there are many who don't have that. The people who are increasingly taking all of the wealth of society are not those guys on £500,000, it's the very rich. And those guys have good accountants, they have good lawyers, they have good connections. They can pressure politicians, and in many cases they are politicians. Rishi Sunak is worth over £700 million. His father-in-law is one of the richest men in the world. They can put in loopholes to exempt themselves, all right? Where's the wealth going? Where is the wealth that was held by the middle class and the government going? To the very rich. They are the threat. The people who are coming and taking your home are the threat. So we need to stop them accumulating wealth. So I talk about levels above 10 million because I think that is, if you have more than 10 million pounds, you are very, very rich. And of course, there's a massive difference between someone who has 10 million and someone who has like Rishi 700 million. But the truth is, if you have 10 million pounds, you are undisputably very, very rich. It's the very rich that are the risk to middle class living standards. The most important thing for me is that you neutralize the threat. The fish rots from the head down. It is the very rich that are taking our stuff. We need to stop it.
And how do you do that then? Have you got like any practical ways, or how would you do it if you were the Prime Minister?
When I hear that question, I always immediately in my head split into 2 parts, which is one, technically, how do you stop the very rich from taking all the assets?
Yeah.
And number 2, politically, how do you get support for it? Because the truth is, at the moment, I campaign for wealth taxes above 10 million, right? We're not going to get that. And what I'm campaigning for is a wealth tax of 1% above 10 million, right? Now, you will know wealthy people frequently get 3, 4, 5% a year on their assets, maybe more, right? So if I was to tax them 1%, it wouldn't even stop them from growing their wealth. So it wouldn't even fix the problem. It would only slow the problem down. We're not getting it because there's no political support for it. The Labour Party is not in any way supporting taxation on wealth because they think it's not popular. And I talk to Labour Party politicians and I say, why are you not doing this? They say, because it's not popular. So really, until we can get popular support for this, the technical question doesn't even come up.
But who do you define popular with who though? Because I'm sure like the average person
It's funny because go on YouTube and you can see that tax the rich is eat the rich, all of this. I mean, there's people making millions out of it.
So obviously the powerful people, it's not popular with the super rich, powerful people, but like the majority of the country, shouldn't they be behind it?
Inheritance tax is a very unpopular tax. So they'll look at things like that and say there's no appetite for...
I'll give you an example, right? Brexit. Everybody loves talking about Brexit. Initially, both the major political parties, well, all 3 major political parties were vociferously against Brexit. Basically, all the main political parties. But enough people in this country insisted that they would vote for whoever the fuck was supporting Brexit, that now both the Conservatives and Labour basically have to support Brexit, even though most of them probably don't want to, right? They have to. We need to make taxation of wealth like that. We need to make a situation where if the main political parties say we're not supporting it, then they fucking lose the election. That is what it needs to be. That's what it needs to be. And it needs that level of public support because these politicians, funded by very, very fucking rich people, in many cases are very rich people, they're not going to turn around and give this to us. It needs ordinary people to demand it, I think.
And where do you stand by like the counter argument that would be that these people are the ones that drive the economy and they're highly mobile, and if you tax them, they'll all just leave and you'll never get the money anyway?
Great question. All right, number one, okay, I earned millions of pounds working in the city. I paid a lot of fucking tax. I paid 60%, you know what I mean? Because it was the 50% top rate at that time, plus national insurance. When I was earning that money to bring my fucking family out of the fucking slums, right? Duke of Westminster inherited £10 billion.
Hugh.
Paid nothing.
Yeah.
Paid nothing.
Yeah.
All right. Who is the guy who's driving the economy here? You know what I mean? Okay, you can shit on fucking bankers all you like, you know, Raheem Sterling, fucking Jack Grealish, you know, Kevin De fucking Bruyne. These guys, at least they fucking work their money and they pay tax.
Yeah.
Right? The very, very wealthy, they don't even all they do is own your fucking mum's mortgage. That's all they do.
He owns Belgravia, doesn't he?
Basically? Yeah, they own the fucking houses, right? You know, these guys they are not driving the economy, they're owning the economy, right? So, you know, what I'm saying is we tax ordinary working people less, and we tax guys who just fucking sit on fucking millions of pounds of assets, your houses, your fucking supermarkets, your fucking mortgages, government fucking debt, paying nothing. You know, so I'm not saying tax the people who drive the economy. I'm saying tax the people who fucking own the economy and do nothing. And on the subject of mobility, they'll leave. You know, these guys are the least fucking economically mobile people in the fucking world, all right? You're a YouTuber, right? We tax YouTubers. And you can fuck off to fucking Dubai and do your fucking YouTube, right? Yeah. These are the least mobile people in the world because they own your mortgage, they own your house. Their money comes from you. Their money does not come from their work. Their money comes from you. If it doesn't come from their work, it comes from you, right? They need fucking you to leave. These are the easiest people in the fucking world to tax because they own fucking Tesco. You know what I mean? They own your house, they own your mortgage, right? So I think the main reason why we have this idea that they can leave when they want is because they keep fucking telling us that, because they fucking want us to fucking believe that.
Yeah.
You know, I read fucking Charles Dickens' fucking Hard Times the other day, and he was talking about how whenever we say we're going to tax the industrialists, they say they'll throw their factories into the sea. You know what I mean? They've been saying this for fucking hundreds. They want you to believe that. And while you're fucking paying 50%, you know what I mean? Once everything's in, they're paying fucking nothing and fucking laughing.
If you want to watch the full interview with Gary Stevenson, then you can get it right here.